Hi guys, Ancient Warrior. Welcome back to Prepping in Free America. If you like what you hear here, hit the subscribe button. If you want to be the first kid on your block to know what craziness I'm talking about next, hit the bell icon with all. And leave comments. Leave comments so I know which way to take the channel. Let's talk about Basics 101. Food. Now I know, before anybody leaves me at... No, we just did basics not too long ago. Gotta come back. I've learned from Jen Psaki, circle around. Keep circling around. Alright guys. The reason we're going back to food is because I got a question asked to me the other day. A couple invited me out to supper and they wanted to pick my brain on stuff to get. Cool. No problem. Don't mind doing it. And besides that, I got a free meal. Can't beat that with a stick. But while we're sitting there, a couple of next little tables sitting there, and you could tell they were paying attention to what we were talking about. Now, their table was divided by a wall about that wide, and you could tell both of them were listening. And finally, the young man stood up, looked at me, and he said, "Can you tell us what food we need to get and what will last the longest?" And I looked at him and I said, "Are you thinking about prepping?" And he said, "I've been trying to get into it, but I just can't find the information I want." So all five of us sat down at the table there, and I drew him out a picture. Now, show you how intent this guy's wife was. She pulled out a little book and is writing down everything I'm suggesting. So let's talk about foods. Guys, every channel in the world is going to tell you beans, rice are your staples. They last the longest. That's true. They do. Let me also tell you that if you don't eat beans and potatoes and cornbread and stuff like that, beans and rice on a regular basis, you may not like it. Excuse me. Let's talk about fixing a pot of beans. Now, I use a crock pot. I'm kind of a point and click type guy. Put my water in, put my meat in, and go. Let it cook all night. Next day you wake up, about noon the next day, you stir it around a little bit, and you got a pretty dang good meal. A little high in carbs, but that's to be expected. Now, cup and a half of beans in a big crock pot like I've got will last me almost a week. Now, I don't eat them every meal, and I do mix it with other things. Heck, I've been known to make a pot of rice, take a couple of scoops of rice, throw it in my beans, and that's a meal. Still a little high on the carb area. But in the winter, carbs are a good thing to have. You know, I'm on a big weight loss push right now. I just cracked over the century mark on weight loss. And it's working. So, let's talk about other things. Now, most of the foods we're going to talk about are going to be high in carbs, low in protein. But we're going to talk about how to fix that problem. Okay, ramen noodles. You can buy them. You know, I just was at Sam's the other day. A case of 48. Case of 48 ramen noodles. Run you about $9.50. So 48, what's that, about 7, 8 cases? And you could eat one a day for a year. Have some beans and rice. Now let's talk about the rice. Like I said, high in carbs. Make some rice. Get a can of mixed vegetables. Sprinkle it into your pan. Stir fry it in. Get some kind of meat of some kind. Stir it in. It may not be restaurant quality fried rice, but it's still going to be good. It'll fill that hole in your belly. I got a bunch of weird birds out here today. And if you notice, the dog's not barking, he's out, but the squirrels are, I don't know. The weather's making some weird changes around here. It's supposed to be in the 90s today. Yesterday was in the 70s. You never know. Okay. I've always told you folks that Mafuko Ando was a genius. I was wrong. He was a godsend. He's the guy who came up with the method on how to fix modern day ramen noodles so that they'd last in that little cellophane wrapping. And I'll tell you, my favorite noodles are not the Chinese. They're the South Korean, the Shin Ramens, because they come in a cellophane, almost like a candy wrapper type deal, and they stay good longer. You know, I've got some in the house right now that are over 2 years old, and I tried some the other day, and they still taste good. It's because I keep them in a cool, dry place. And I keep them in a dark area. You know, sunlight, guys and gals, sunlight is your worst enemy for your preps. Dehydrated vegetables. Now guys, a lot of you are going to sit there and look at me and go, well, they just don't have the taste I like. I don't think if things get worse, you're really going to care that much about taste as you are filling that hole in your belly, or in your children's belly, or in your husband or wife's belly. You know, hunger does some really weird things to people. I've seen it happen. I've seen hunger actually make people hallucinate stupid things. Folks, you've got to be able to fix foods that your family will eat. Now, in a future video, we're going to talk about the other cuts of meat. There are going to be about 4, 5, 6 cuts. And I'm going to tell you something. You need to learn how to cook this stuff now. Not when somebody gives it to you and says, oh, you can figure it out. I hate that when people tell me that. So, folks, remember, get your preps together. Stack it from the floor to the ceiling. And remember, it's better to have it, not need it, than need it and not have it. And if you're prepping, you're going to live free. I'm the Ancient Warrior, and we're out.